Did you know that the Munsters competed with the Addams Family? Or that there was a Munsters reboot movie? These are just a couple of the surprising and fascinating details hidden behind the scenes of the Munsters. This quirky 1960s TV show gave us one of the most memorable and spooky families in television history, but there's so much more to the story than meets the eye. Here are 10 surprising facts that highlight the lasting legacy of the Munsters, a show that continues to enchant viewers with its campy humor and ghoulish appeal. Number 1. Herman Munster's makeup took hours to apply. Fred Gwynne's portrayal of Herman Munster is one of the most recognizable elements of the show, but bringing the character to life wasn't a simple task. To transform into the lovable Frankenstein-like patriarch, Gwynne had to undergo a grueling makeup process. Every day, Gwynne spent nearly 3 hours in the makeup chair, where layers of green paint were applied to his face, along with bolts, scars, and a flat-top headpiece that gave Herman his signature look. In addition to the elaborate makeup, Gwynne also wore heavy platform boots that added nearly 4 inches to his already towering 6 feet 5 inches height. These boots, along with the thick costume, made it difficult for Gwynne to move around freely on set. Despite these challenges, Gwynne brought an effortless charm and warmth to the character, making Herman one of the most beloved figures in TV history. Number 2. The Munsters' house was used in other shows. The Munster family lived in a creepy Gothic mansion that was the perfect setting for their spooky antics. But did you know that the exterior of the Munsters' house wasn't built specifically for the show? The house at 1313 Mockingbird Lane was actually a part of Universal Studios' backlot and was used in several other productions. One of the most notable appearances of the house was in the 1950s sitcom Leave It to Beaver, where it served as the Cleaver family's residence. After the Munsters, the house underwent a series of renovations and appeared in various films and TV shows, including Desperate Housewives. Despite these changes, the eerie charm of 1313 Mockingbird Lane remains iconic to fans of the Munsters. Number 3. Yvonne De Carlo was a Hollywood star before playing Lily Munster. Before taking on the role of the glamorous and spooky Lily Munster, Yvonne De Carlo had already enjoyed a long and successful career in Hollywood. She had starred in several major films, including The Ten Commandments and Salome Where She Danced, and was known for her roles in adventure and drama films. However, by the time The Munsters was being cast, De Carlo's career had started to slow down. Taking the role of Lily Munster gave De Carlo a new opportunity to showcase her versatility as an actress. Her performance as the loving but slightly eccentric matriarch of the Munster family helped to solidify her legacy, and she quickly became one of the most memorable parts of the show. De Carlo's presence added a touch of class and sophistication to the otherwise goofy and campy world of the Munsters. Number 4. Fred Gwynne and Al Lewis had worked together. Before Fred Gwynne, Herman Munster, and Al Lewis, Grandpa Munster, had a natural comedic chemistry on screen, but their collaboration didn't start with the Munsters. The two actors had worked together previously on the hit sitcom Car 54, Where Are You?, where they played a pair of bumbling New York City police officers. Their shared experience on that show helped build the foundation for their on-screen rapport in the Munsters. The easygoing banter between Herman and Grandpa became one of the highlights of the series, and their playful antics often drove the plot of the show. The duo's friendship off-screen also contributed to the success of their on-screen performances, making their dynamic feel even more authentic. Number 5. Butch Patrick wasn't the original Eddie Munster. Eddie Munster, the werewolf-like son of Herman and Lily, was originally played by another actor before Butch Patrick took over the role. In the unaired pilot episode, Eddie was portrayed by child actor Happy Durman. However, the producers felt that Durman's version of Eddie came across as too harsh and unlikable. When the show was picked up for a full series, they decided to recast the role with Butch Patrick, whose softer, more innocent portrayal of Eddie better fit the show's tone. Patrick's performance as the wide-eyed, mischievous Eddie helped to balance the family's over-the-top antics and provided a more relatable character for younger viewers. Number 6. The Munsters was a hit overseas. While the Munsters enjoyed moderate success in the United States, it became a massive hit internationally, particularly in countries like the United Kingdom and Japan. The show's blend of slapstick humor, visual gags, and universal themes of family made it accessible to audiences all over the world, even if they weren't familiar with American sitcoms or horror tropes. In the UK, The Munsters aired on the BBC, where it gained a loyal fan base. In Japan, the show was dubbed into Japanese, and the Munster family's quirky, spooky antics resonated with viewers. The global popularity of The Munster helped to cement its status as a beloved classic that transcends cultural boundaries. Number 7, Grandpa Munster's lab was full of movie props. Grandpa Munster, played by Al Lewis, was known for his wild inventions and potions, many of which were created in his eccentric basement laboratory. What fans may not know is that many of the props used in Grandpa's lab were actually borrowed from Universal Studios' collection of old movie props. Several of the items seen in the lab had appeared in classic Universal horror films like Frankenstein, The Mummy, and The Invisible Man. The studio recycled these iconic props to give the lab a more authentic feel and to connect the Munsters to Universal's long history of monster movies. This subtle homage to the golden age of horror added an extra layer of depth for viewers who recognize the familiar pieces. Number 8, The Munsters was canceled due to a shift to color TV. The Munsters enjoyed a successful run from 1964 to 1966, but the show came to an abrupt end after only 2 seasons. One of the primary reasons for its cancellation was the television industry's shift from black and white programming to color. The Munsters was filmed in black and white, which contributed to its classic, spooky atmosphere. However, by the mid-1960s, most television networks were making the transition to color, and the costs of producing a show in color were significantly higher. The producers of The Munsters didn't believe the show's gothic charm would translate well into color, and as a result, it was not renewed for a 3rd season. Despite its short run, the show's lasting impact on pop culture remains undeniable. Number 9, The Munsters competed with the Addams Family. When The Munsters premiered in 1964, it wasn't the only spooky family on television. The Addams Family, another series that centered around an eccentric, macabre family, premiered just a week earlier on a different network. The 2 shows were often compared, with fans debating which creepy clan was superior. Despite the rivalry, both shows managed to carve out their own unique identities. While the Addams Family leaned more into surrealism and dark humor, the Munsters took a more traditional sitcom approach, with familiar family dynamics and slapstick comedy. Both shows developed loyal fan bases, and to this day, fans of classic TV often hold both series in high regard. Number 10, there was a Munsters reboot movie. After the original series ended, the Munster family wasn't gone for long. In 1966, a full-length color feature film titled Munster: Go Home was released. This movie marked the first time that audiences got to see the Munster family in color, revealing their green skin and gothic attire in a whole new way. The film followed the family as they traveled to England, where Herman Munster inherited an English estate. Although Munster: Go Home didn't perform well at the box office, it has since become a cult classic among fans of the series. The movie also paved the way for several later attempts to reboot the series, including a 1980s reunion movie and the more recent reimagining of the Munster family in the 2022 movie The Munsters, directed by Rob Zombie. That's it for today. Did you ever watch The Munsters? What did you think of it? And which Munster family member is your favorite? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.